so you can hear me okay. I'm not sure what this sounds like with the saw running over here. But I do a little multitasking today while I'm cutting the plates for the Monarch to sit on. I figured I'd tackle fixing up this balancing stand before I lose the parts for it here. So I've got everything to go on this one wheel. The only thing to do is to get this all took apart and start putting them in it. So see if I can find a punch to knock this brace out with. Alright, so I went and got my 875 reamer, try and clean these holes up, but find me blades for this. I think they call this a chef cut. It's supposed to be a real nice reamer, but I had to get some blades and realized there was no blades with this one. So I got my burnisher instead and just run this through there, put good oil on it, and just kept cranking it out a couple of tenths at a time until I got to where the bushings would lightly drive in. They were super tight to begin with, so I measured them. They measure a 1/2 thousandths over the original ones I took out, so I went ahead and rolled this out another 1/2 thousandths to get the same kind of fit as original. Before I started burnishing, I couldn't get this in. This has got hardened steel inserts that guide, and they wouldn't go in the hole, so I'm sure it was under. This has to go in here something like this. Nice and nice. So if you're doing one of these, grind the pointy ends down on this before you go to put it together, and you'll save yourself having to take it back apart to grind the ends down. I suppose you could have done it on here, but I wouldn't want that stuff, the grinder dust and everything up in there. I wanted it nice and clean. So I did spray a little just real light penetrating oil in there. It's like diesel fuel. I don't think it'll slow it down too much, but I'd be afraid of rust without it. Well, I'd have to say that I didn't understand exactly the purpose of the points on the rollers in here. I thought actually that was part of the manufacturing process, but in reality I believe that you're supposed to machine them off at the ends to set the end play in this. I ground them off for clearance, and I probably took off more than I should. It will sit in the center It doesn't rub on the side, so I didn't get too crazy, but I would go back and take a end mill to the end, a ball end mill, and then put a ball on each end of it that would touch against this cover, and hopefully take any of the thrust out of that, and that might be a better setup even than what they had with the point. Not sure exactly what you're supposed to do there. If you're supposed to just keep machining down the point back until you get the right in play, or what. These original ones, they're balled on the end, kind of like what I was talking about doing, turn the radius to work pretty good, except I've already took too much material off for that to work. But like I said, I think I could put a ball in there, and a floating ball would probably be better than the radius because it would be less friction. It would have some movement that it could have if it needed to, but otherwise it seems to be going pretty good. The penetrating oil lube seems to be plenty thin enough to not affect it as far as where this thing stops. I was worried the cotter pan would throw it out of balance, but it doesn't really appear to have enough of an effect to change where it stops. Looks pretty good. So it didn't roll back, so it's probably close. Well, I hope you enjoyed getting to see me mutter my way through that. I learned a lot on doing this. Had I been doing this when the company was open, I'm sure I could have called and asked, but then again, I didn't really know what I was asking until after I'd already done it, so it wouldn't have made a lot of difference anyway. But I think I know how it's supposed to be now. But it'll work. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and hopefully you've learned from my mistakes. So if you ever work on one of these, you can do it better than I did. And I'll catch y'all later.